Everybody wants to be an artist. Everybody wants to create something beautiful and share it with the world so that it outlives them. And everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be heard, to be acknowledged. I mean, not everyone, but most people would like to be seen, to be heard, and to be acknowledged. But the truth is, the majority of us, our artistic contributions may go unnoticed. Uh, Most of us, or some of us, may give our best to expressing the deepest parts of our minds and still not get the validation and attention we seek, or the validation and attention we want. And this can be a very hard pill to swallow. That is being okay with staying unrecognized or even rejected for your creations and your passion projects. You know, it's very, very disheartening. But I guess that's one thing internet and social media have all insisted against. That is being content with just staying unrecognized. The rule states that the artist has to blow up if he is going to be if he's truly going to be taken seriously. The artist has to, be big. And on one hand, you might be inclined to think that yes, that's how it should be because fame equals true talent. After all, we've seen people like Michael Jackson, like Celine Dion, Beethoven. These are people that became massively famous and we are also talented. Leonardo da Vinci, the Beatles. These are influential artists that were also good at their skill, at their work. But on the other hand, talent isn't always positively correlated with fame. In fact, there have been literal geniuses that lived very ordinary, unrecognized lives, yet they created masterpiece, that will come to be seen as the pinnacle of creativity and ingenuity. Um, even long after their deaths, and examples of this type of people include, Bach, Vincent van Gogh, the Emily Dickinson, Franz Kafka, and many more. I mean, a lot. I can, you can go check them up. You can search them up. You'll see a lot of artists of this nature. But for this particular set of artists who struggle to find an audience or who struggle to make space for themselves in the world, the mental health consequences can be quite dark and heavy to handle. Several artists have lived and died. Very crazy. Lived and died in abject poverty, or suffered chronic physical and mental illnesses. And some have even gone to the extreme end, of taking their own lives just to escape this dismal reality of staying on of giving so much and not being recognized. And for these artists that go that through that way, I usually feel that their posthumous fame cannot even justify the suffering that they had to go through while alive. And yet you realize that creation and creativity was the only thing that they held on to, even while they were suffering. For example, look at Vincent van Gogh, who painted over 2,000 paintings, all completed while in a mental institution, or Emily Dickinson, who wrote over 1,700 poems while spending most of her life indoors and depressed. It's crazy. It's crazy. In fact, Dostoevsky, one of the most famous philosopher of his time, wrote his famous work while in the dark cells of a Russian prison. That is mad. I'm not really sure if he's Russian, but he was in prison when he wrote that work, which is crazy. The takeaway here is not really going for greatness or settling for being ordinary or even being less than ordinary. But my focus here is in creativity. It's on creativity itself, the art and science of thinking, of constructing, of developing, of crafting, and of creating. After all, human suffering is universal. And sometimes even fame or riches cannot even ease that burden of suffering. That's human suffering that we all experience. Or you see art, mm, either appreciating it or generating it, it's like a balm, it's like a healer of souls, and it gives you the opportunity to come clean, to be raw, to be dirty, to be naked and disgusting with your experience as a human being, which is what most of us should be doing. You get it doesn't have to be widely accepted, it just has to be truly you. And it's also one way that you can actually integrate those conflicting personalities, those contradictions, those contradictory beliefs and ideas that you hold that needs resolving. The answer to resolving those beliefs or those contradictions usually lies in embracing art. Either the art of the body, calisthenics, gymnastics, sports, or maybe the art of the mind, literature, fine arts, music, and the arts of the soul, spirituality, faith, holiness. It could be anything. Um, yeah, that's just my take for today. What do you think? Does this align with your experiences? Drop them in the comment section below, and I'll be seeing you around. Yeah, this is just short talk. Short talk. Bye.